Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to our annual grants reception where everybody gets to get their checks. So I know that's always a fun time for everyone. I have to say from the foundation perspective, it is getting more and more difficult every year because we're getting more and more applications, which is really wonderful because it just means that we're able to reach out into the community and support the organizations that are out there and doing amazing work, and that's each and every one of you. I'm just going to call everybody up one by one and give you your certificate and your check. But I'd like each of you to introduce yourselves and give us a little bit of information. Of course, we all know what you're doing, but it's really wonderful for each of you to hear what each other is doing. I know you've had a few minutes to talk, but it's oftentimes what we found at these gatherings is it's the connections that are made between the organizations and the people that can be most fruitful. So I think it's great for each of us to hear what it is that you're doing. So thank you all for being here, and on that note, let's get started with Act for Me.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Millie, and I'm here on behalf of nonprofit organization Act for Me. I want to first of all thank the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for this grant and for continuing to support us every year, believing in our cause, especially this year because we are turning 10. We are celebrating 10 years of Act for Me, and this is very special because it shows how committed we are in improving the lives of children with disabilities and that need therapy. Since 2009, we've helped over 160 children living in Miami-Dade and Broward. And to us, we're very proud of that achievement. These are children that suffer with different conditions like autism or cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, among many others. And unfortunately, their families cannot afford for the therapies. They're very costly. So we believe throughout the years that therapy is very beneficial to them, especially because these children suffer with different struggles that it might be small for us, something normal as to holding a spoon or buttoning their shirt or expressing themselves through speech. We believe at Act for Me that by giving them access to the right therapy, they can overcome these struggles. And we are giving them a chance to achieve their highest potential and possibly become independent. So we're very proud of our achievements in this past 10 years, but we have to recognize that this is all made possible through donors and grantors like the Key Biscayne Community Foundation that help us every year make a great difference. So we're very thankful for that. And I also want to thank you all because it's a true honor to be here joining a group of people that are so committed to giving back to the community. To me, that's a privilege. So I want to thank you all as well for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be around people who are so committed to the quality of life, not only in Key Biscayne, but all over Miami. Vanessa, Bridge to Hope.
Good morning. My name is Vanessa. I'm the Executive Director of Bridge to Hope. We are an organization that provides wraparound supports to low, moderate income and in crisis families in Deep South Dade, and I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for being a part of our journey. You were one of our first funders when we decided that it was time to level up and go from serving 40 and 50 families to hundreds of families. Last year we served over 32,000 people, and we'll probably serve close to 40,000 this year. In the last year, we've provided $1.5 million in supports to people recovering from Irma, to people who just were in crisis for one reason or another in the form of food and clothing and housewares and furniture. And we're involved in a rebuilding project right now down in Marathon. And you're the hero of the story. I thank you so much for just your support, your encouragement, connecting me with wonderful people in this room, and the people that we've met being a part of this. It has been an incredible, amazing journey. I'm grateful that we are really and truly just getting started, that the really amazing stories are yet to come. And just this week we had a family who I absolutely adore and feel very connected to. The husband, father in this story has actually served in Iraq with my daughter, where she is actually right now. He's done 2 tours and a little PTSD and is back home. And they were so excited because they were able to buy a home, and they bought it as is, and thought it just needed cosmetic work. And unfortunately for them, after they pulled the permits and they started the work, they found out that the house needed major electrical work, and their power was shut off, and they were there with their 6 children in a home with no power. And the way they're making this work is they come every day. The wife picks up the kids at school, they come by Bridge to Hope, and they get everything they need for the day. We fill up their cooler, they go home, they cook on the grill, and we were able to connect with another organization which is going to help rebuild the home over the next few weeks. So that's all going to be done. But when you think about the kind of person that we think that typically is in a food line, these are not the people that we think about. We don't think about veterans who put their lives on the lines, people who've gone to school and made all the right decisions. And it just reminds us that anything can happen to anyone at a time. And isn't it wonderful that we can be there for people when they need us the most? So thank you for being my heroes. Thank you for empowering us to be there for John and for his family, and for literally thousands of others in Miami-Dade County. Bless you.
And at the foundation, just so you know, we have a wonderful, very active, and very committed group of people who sit down every year and read through and peruse all the information that everybody provides, and struggle through the decisions of how a sort of limited amount of money can get distributed. So we're very grateful for their work in this project. Chabad House, are they with us today? All right. They're going to be offering an interesting sort of library to the community of Jewish culture and history. So it's going to be a resource for everybody, and I hope that we all take advantage of that. It's a wonderful organization that sometimes flies under the radar here on Key Biscayne, but I encourage all of you to reach out and find out what the Chabad House is up to and what they're doing in the community, and we're sorry that they're not here to join us today. Debris-Free Oceans. They're a group that's also committed. Something very important to all of us, I know, is just what it says, debris-free oceans. So we're all about supporting people to keep our oceans and beaches clean. So.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for awarding us this grant. We are Debris-Free Oceans. We are a Miami-based foundation. We are 100% volunteer-run. And what we do is we educate and try to get everyone to shift to a lifestyle that produces less waste. As we know, 80% of the marine debris that we found on coastlines in Miami is plastic. And we try to educate students, adults, and bring people to lifestyle events where we can see what is it that we can do about it. There's a lot of things that it might seem overwhelming, the problem with plastic pollution and marine debris, but there's certainly a lot of things that we can do at the individual level and at the community level. So we are very excited to work here in Key Biscayne, working to solve the problem of marine debris altogether. The program that we have proposed is a citizen science program. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a baseline to see how much plastic is in our waters here, how much plastic and how much marine debris is affecting seagrass and coral reefs that are such an important ecosystems for here for Key Biscayne and in South Florida. So we're very grateful for the grant, and we look forward to starting work together. Thank you.
Dibia Dream. They're doing some interesting after-school programming over in Overtown.
Good morning. Morning. Sorry I was late just getting back in town. We're thankful each year. We're all nonprofits and we all understand that at the end of the day, funding really helps us be able to impact more youth. And from the beginning, the Key Biscayne Foundation has supported us, so we're very thankful for that. Dibia Dream, try to do this up a little bit. Dibia Dream, DREAM is an acronym for Development Through Recreational Education for Athletic Minds. And we have a couple programs that really try to help our youth win at life. Our main program is Dream Academy, where we work with kids in the community between Homestead and Martin County. And we focus on STEM education, financial literacy, health and wellness, mentorship, and sports. And we really just try to make sure that the kids have a safe haven after school to show, one, that people care about them, but two, that they can learn in a great environment and be able to succeed at life. Our new program, STEM Saturdays, which this will go to, has really transformed our organization. We really tried to bring the community into our organization. So through STEM Saturdays, we partner with different community centers where we call them incubators of excellence. And we do STEM with about 100 kids which started to be one Saturday out of the month, has turned into every Saturday in the month. And that is through support from great partners. And we do different projects with the kids. We build mechanical cars. We'll dissect a sheep lung and build mechanical lungs and mechanical hearts. So we just try to do fun things with the kids because we all see now that STEM is moving forward in the job force and really changing the way people do things now. So we want to be able to help our kids. Is all of our kids going to be a scientist or an engineer? No, but if they can look at how they do things differently and think critically, then that's what we want to do. Our other program, Dream Scholars, is where we scholarship kids in the community to college each year. And then we've partnered with the NIA Project and a group called Son of Saint to send kids to Africa each year to kind of give them a transformational leadership experience. And then our last program is the Summer of Dreams, which is kind of why I'm on edge, because now we're doing a lot of summer camps here. So it's just amazing to, one, receive this award, but two, be able to continue to impact the kids. So one, I want to say congratulations to everyone else who has received this award as well. And thank you to the Key Biscayne Foundation. We appreciate it.
Fill a bag. Now your check comes just automatically since you're already part of the foundation. So, but you do get your certificate.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. My name is Manny Rionda, and I am one of the co-founders of Fill a Bag, together with Nancy Davis and James Duncan. Fill a Bag empowers people to turn daily beach walks into meaningful cleanups by providing reusable bags and buckets at beachfronts, allowing people to turn a regular walk into a meaningful cleanup. Fill a Bag was founded by a few friends here in Key Biscayne and continues to expand in the region. After winning the 2018 Miami Foundation's Public Space Challenge, and with the support of the Key Biscayne Community Foundation, 10 Fill a Bag stations have been activated in Key Biscayne, Virginia Key, Surfside, and most recently up in Broward at the Dr. Von D. Minsel Eula Johnson State Park in Dania Beach. Initially a local initiative, we invite you to join what's becoming a global movement. Follow us on Instagram at Fill a Bag. Fill a bag at your favorite beach, and don't forget to share a selfie when you do. Thank you.
No, it's really important work. I also just want to say I'm the director over at the Key Biscayne Presbyterian School, and our kids all go on beach cleanups every year, each class. That's one of our field trips every year. And Manny was great. He came and gave sort of a little lesson to the kids before they went off on their beach cleanup, and I think it really impacted them very positively. They got the message.
Thank you very much.
Florida Children's First.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jory Berman. I'm the statewide director of Florida Youth Shine, which is a program under Florida Children First. In behalf of all the youth in Florida Youth Shine around the state, we'd like to thank the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for this generous grant, an exciting opportunity to give the voiceless a voice. Florida Youth Shine is made up of over 350 youth members from the ages of 13 to 24 throughout the state of Florida that have experience in the foster care system. A lot of times people think that kids just come into the foster care system and they're placed with a foster parent and life is better for them, but oftentimes it's not. They're ripped from trauma and then they are re-traumatized, whether they're separated from their siblings, they're living in homes with dozens of other children, just experiencing lack of opportunities that they had before. So Florida Youth Shine gives them that voice to identify those problems in order to improve the system and make changes for thousands, over 20,000 children in Florida. A quick example is normalcy. The youth, being the experts in the system, identified a lot of issues that they couldn't participate in clubs. They couldn't go have a sleepover at a friend's. They would have to have a court order. They couldn't go on a boat vacation with their foster family. And this was happening all over the state. So they came together and said, we need normalcy. We're normal, we're just like regular kids. So they advocated for those changes, and now Kids in Care can participate in clubs because the youth were the experts and the voice at the table. So we are so grateful to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for not just impacting the youth members in our group, but the children in care all over Florida. Thank you very much.
And Friends of South Florida Music.
Good morning. My name is Joy Galliford, and put that down. I'm here very gratefully accepting this grant. This foundation was the first one to award us a grant to get started in our work in Frederick Douglass Elementary School in Overtown, as well as the Key Biscayne K-8 Center, providing music as a necessary agent for early childhood classes. So what do? Well, you all have heard that we need to stand up and breathe every once in a while, correct? We were just talking about that at our table, and it was kind of funny. So I'm going to give you just a snippet of what I do. So I just would ask you to help me here and stand up and take your napkin. And everybody just stand up. And this is part of what we do in every school that we go to. So we would go up and down, up and down, up and down. And all of you need this. Up. You're going to stretch your full width. And then you're going to go side to side, making arms big like a T to increase your social emotional development. You stretched your bodies. You all needed to breathe. You got to express yourself. Whee! And you took a bow because you should be congratulated for what you're doing for everybody in our community. So our organization provides that type of stimulation to children who would never otherwise have that at the early ages of 3, 4, 5, and beyond. So I am very grateful to be here with all of you today to accept this grant, to be able to say that I have the freedom in my life at this moment to do this type of thing with young children, knowing that the younger we do this, the better they are for the rest of their life. And I give a say congratulations to all of you and special thanks to the foundation. And yes, that social media thing is very important. So if I would encourage us all this morning to give a thumbs up to each of our organizations on the Facebook or the Instagram, like while we're sitting here, just like each other, because the grant funding now has a point award for that specific thing. So let's all help each other this morning. And thank you, Foundation.
That was awesome.
So not only are all of you smiling at the end of that, which imagine how great that is for the kids, especially kids who maybe don't always have a lot to smile about every day. But for those of you who don't know, that was also really important stuff for those little kids who are learning to read. So you may not always make that connection between what a class like what Joy offers to them and what it means to them educationally, but finding all those rhythms and making your body move and feeling the rhythms and the patterns are all really, really important foundations for reading. So thank you so much for what you do. And then we have our Key Biscayne Park and Public Open Space Conservancy. And likewise, since you're already under the umbrella of the foundation, you get your money goes directly into your account.
Good morning, Steve Simon. Standing on a corner of Heather and Hampton for a couple of years got me thinking about what works and what doesn't work when we create and utilize parks and open spaces. And that lesson really got me to reflect on how things work across the country. Key Biscayne is unique in many ways, but also, like other places, municipalities across the country, when you have public spaces, public parks, oftentimes there are things that the government does superbly, and there are things that you need private involvement and private sector involvement for. It's true in Chicago with the Lincoln Parks Conservancy. Someone here is from San Francisco, the Golden Gate Conservancy. People tend, in this part of Florida, tend to be familiar with Central Park Conservancy. So the park at 401 Hampton Lane was really an effort. It's public space, it's publicly owned. Those of you who know the story know that I and my family were very involved in building that. And there were private funds, grant money, and public funds. And after that experience, I created the Key Biscayne Park and Public Open Space Conservancy. Let me just read the mission to you. Establish a vehicle, the Conservancy, to generate public support for and raise public and private money to explore and develop opportunities for the creation of, acquisition of, design of, construction of additional parks and other public open spaces on the island of Key Biscayne. Utilize the Conservancy to provide for the enhancement and maintenance of existing parks and other public open spaces on Key Biscayne, and to conduct on-site educational sessions. The Conservancy anticipates developing and maintaining a working relationship with the Village of Key Biscayne Village Manager and/or Village Council to achieve our mutual goals. So I want to thank the Foundation for the funding today for the grant. I invite all of you to be in touch with me to get involved. Really, the two immediate goals ahead of us are, one, we want to put some of the finishing touches on the park at 401 Hampton Lane, and I'm looking for any of you who would like to get involved to see additional such parks on the Key. There's always opportunities, but it takes momentum, it takes public involvement, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. For those who haven't been over to the park, it is a beautifully designed, I think, Steve's son designed the park, and his daughter is the horticulturist, no? That sort of very carefully picked out what was going to be planted there. It's all beautifully labeled. It's a wonderful educational experience to go over and see what's there. So thank you so much for doing that. For the Key Biscayne Presbyterian School, from our PTA.
Congratulations, Amy.
You know, it's kind of like I'm not really supposed to be here, but
You're here.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What we're doing is we have a pretty active garden, as some of you may know, over at our school, and we have a wonderful garden teacher who comes 2 days a week. She used to be at Fairchild Gardens. And poor Allison works and slaves out there in the hot sun with the kids every day that she's there. And so we thought maybe we extend a shelter over by the garden, which the foundation also enclosed a few years ago for us. So we're very grateful. We're very grateful for that. Marjory Stoneman Douglas Nature Center. Biscayne Nature Center.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Ellis, and I'm proud to represent the Marjory Stoneman Douglas Biscayne Nature Center, located at the north end of Key Biscayne, the North Beach entrance of Crandon Park. Very close, but sometimes seems very far away. We're grateful to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation, and especially the grant committee, for continuing to include us among all of you in their funding decisions. The Biscayne Nature Center is dedicated to environmental education and the encouragement of greater citizen participation in the protection of our natural environment. We have been involved in environmental education on Key Biscayne since 1969. In fact, Key Biscayne resident and teacher Mabel Fentress Miller started doing environmental education programs based out of the back of a hot dog stand on the beach in the late 60s, early 70s. And it would bring school children from around Miami-Dade County to do hands-on immersive environmental education field trips, and we continue doing that to this day. In 1985, legendary environmentalist Marjory Stoneman Douglas got involved in creating the nonprofit organization I'm here to represent today. She created this nonprofit at the the young age of 95 for her. I mean, she lived to 108 years old. And Marjory had a dream. I think if Theo Long were here today, would say that Marjory had a dream of a nature center by the sea. And that dream came to fruition through a lot of hard work and fundraising. And in 2000, we opened the facility that we're in today. And so Marjory's dream came true in that respect. On any given day, in fact today, there are probably school buses on their way to the Nature Center now with children from around the county who are coming to coming out to breathe fresh air, experience Miami's natural environment with, again, a hands-on, immersive, outdoor field trip in the Bear Cut Preserve, which is 165 acres of shoreline, a dune system, mangrove forest, hardwood hammock, and a rare fossilized reef. So kids just come out and experience natural Miami, many of whom are experiencing it for the first time. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to watch children who live just miles away coming over the Rickenbacker Causeway. As we all know, that's always a gorgeous view, and then they come into the Nature Center and they are just wowed, and it's a beautiful thing. Specifically, we're grateful to the Community Foundation again this year for supporting our Earth Day Festival. This year, in April, we held Earth Stravaganza, an Earth Day Festival for Key Biscayne and the greater community. It included a service component where people came, children, youth, adults, families came and did service projects throughout the preserve. It included a family fun eco-village with lots of activities, water sports, nature tours, native plantings, live music and entertainment and food. And then it culminated with a mermaid parade. Mermaids as symbols of fierce protectors of the environment, and we had our King Neptunes too. So we're grateful for the Community Foundation support, and we look forward to having a bigger and better Earthstravaganza next year. Thank you.
Thank you. And you weren't here to learn about Fill-A-Bag, but hopefully you guys will connect over there, because that's an important connection. If you're not already connected, you may be, right?
I've been to their events and amazing.
Okay, awesome. Mass sustainability.
All right, so there you go. Tell us what you did.
I don't know if I just want to say I'm really, really grateful to the foundation, because they've been not only very approachable, but so supportive of all of the mass programs we've had, whether it's college fair, sustainability, the robotics. We couldn't do the programs without you, and we're very grateful. So I want to introduce you to Michelle Drucker, because she's the head of the Sustainability Committee. She's really brought new leadership and has accomplished amazing things. We have some ambitious 5-year goals to do. So Michelle, you can talk about it.
Thank you, and thank you for the continued support. So Mast Academy in 2017 had Delaney Reynolds present to 1,000 kids, and she talked about the impact of sea level rise on their generation. I don't know if you know Delaney, but she was 17 years old at the time. She's addressed the United Nations about the impacts of sea level rise on her generation. She was featured on National Geographic alongside of Jack Black, the comedian, and she's been a real catalyst for a lot of student-led change in our community. And she really had an impact on our kids, because after she provided her presentation, the kids spontaneously voted to become the first net zero energy school in Florida. And it kind of took our breath away, like, wow, that's a pretty ambitious goal. 6th graders were asking, can they sell lemonade to buy solar panels? And we sort of thought, okay, we need to scale up from lemonade, and it is contributions like from the Key Biscayne Community Foundation that has really helped us out. And there actually are many net zero energy schools across the country. There's 125, either already they've achieved the goal or they're in the process of achieving that goal through the Department of Energy. And as we sort of dug deeper, we realized that we really need to bring our school district along as well. So our strategy was to seek local, state, and national recognition as we pursued our goals. We became a Green Apple School in 2017. We were the first 6 through 12 Green Apple School through the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. We have recycling, we have energy efficiency programs. We retrofitted our engineering room with help from Lutron Electronics and the U.S. Green Building Council. Pepsi brought the recycling roadster to our school this year, the only school that's received a visit. It's a solar-powered van that teaches people about the importance of recycling. And just this last week, we received notification that we are the only school in Florida that has been awarded the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Award. And that is requires 3 pillars: reduced environmental impacts and costs, sustainable environmental curriculum, and health and wellness programs. So for those of you who might follow the bicycling culture here on the Key, we had to push to get a bicycle rack, for instance, outside our school. We had to push to get recycling started at the school when it was suspended at the level of the district. So we really are getting traction, and our kids are being amazing advocates. They're speaking to their school board members. They're measuring bus emissions, which are actually quite hazardously high in our bus loading area. They're making presentations asking for less plastic waste in the cafeteria, because we do things like wrap our apples in plastic bags and cut up oranges and put them in cups and plastic lids. So our kids are motivated, and I try to express to them they are doing exactly what we would hope as parents you would do after you get an education. You understand what is most beneficial for your health and wellness, and you advocate for that. And our kids are doing it, and they're really remarkable, and they're leading this change. So we thank you for your support so we can keep scaling up our program.
Just stop 1 second. Perfect, thank you.
Mass is doing lots of more great things. So come on over for the Robotics Club.
Hello. It's your local high school, and the purpose of our club is to help support the STEM program through robotics at the it's an after-school program. We also help the engineering department provide things that are not provided at the public school through Miami-Dade County. So we're there to fill the gap of whatever's missing for the kids. And what we try to do is alleviate memberships or costs so that all the kids can participate across the board. It's very important. It's a very competitive field, and these kids are very motivated and they're dedicated. They work after school for no credit. On the weekends, 3 times a week, they meet after school. And so we try to provide all the materials needed for these robotic competitions, which can be extremely expensive, especially when they compete against private schools that are very well funded. So we have a new teacher this year, and he's very much into computer science. So we incorporate the computer science, the programming, electrical engineering, and it's a great little club and a great group of students. It helps them also with their college applications, scholarships, the different competitions, whether it be VEX or FIRST or MATE or Technology Club. They all travel to different competitions. We're there to support with volunteers, chaperones, materials, registration fees, transportation, food, and we are very humbled and by this great group of recipients for this grant, and we're very thankful to be part of your recipients.
Our American Legion.
I'm glad that I get to do this so that I get a chance to kiss her each year. I appreciate it. My name is Tim Stickney. This is Steve Tellum. We are members of the Sons of the American Legion, which is a part of the American Legion. We're like a subsidiary. It's a very simple thing, and I feel humbled to be around you all because you're much bigger and you do a lot more things for a lot of people. But what we do we were founded by Steve Tellum here, and he came up with an idea of getting some veterans over here from the VA hospital and giving them lunch here at the Key Biscayne Yacht Club. And so we started doing this, and we usually have between, 20, 25 veterans from the VA hospital, and they come here and they have suffered from either post-traumatic stress syndrome or physical injuries. We have people, unfortunately, that have been wounded in combat and disabled. And they come here, they get a chance to get out of the hospital. They get a chance to, to breathe some fresh air and to have a good lunch. We have had people come up to us and say, we appreciate what you're doing because we would have never had an opportunity to come to a place like the Key Biscayne Yacht Club. And it makes you feel good. As I know each one of you all, it's a wonderful thing to see and work with our disabled veterans. We want to say thank you to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation because each one of these lunches costs around $1,000 or a hair over. and we've been very fortunate. The Key Biscayne Community Foundation has supported us in the past, as do the members of this yacht club. So we are very grateful to the foundation, and we're grateful to people like you who go out and bust your backsides to help people who need help. Thank you.
It's a wonderful program, and I think it's important for us to remember every day that we need to be thankful to our veterans, especially given that it was just Memorial Day, and not the, well, you all were there, but the American Legion also did a beautiful memorial ceremony in the park for anybody who was there. I would highly recommend putting it on your calendar for next year. Teatro Avante.
Hola. I bring theater to Key Biscayne, children's theater, that is. My name is Mario Ernesto Sanchez, and I'm the founder and producing artistic director of the International Hispanic Theater Festival and Teatro Avante. I'm better known here as Marilyn Borroco's brother, but we do it every year. We present, there's one day in the festival that we dedicate to children, and that company, international company, children's theater company, comes and performs at the Miami-Dade County Auditorium. But before they do that, they come here at the Key Biscayne Community Center. And we usually bring educational, colorful, entertaining children's theater. And the children love it. We get full houses. We've been supported by the Key Biscayne Community Foundation for many years, and we thank you for it. And this is what we do. It's basically a great day for them. Last year we brought someone that's in charge of learning the children to eat healthy. So we did a salad, and they all ate a salad. And parents were saying, well, what? They never had salad before. So anyway, we thank you, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
At the festival.
The Teatro Avante has become one of the oldest Hispanic theater companies in the nation. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and the festival is 34 years old, and that's what we're doing this year. We're bringing 4 countries. We're bringing Argentina, Chile, Spain, and the United States, and it'll be July 11th through the 28th. And the children's theater here will be Saturday, July 20th at the Key Biscayne Community Center.
Thank you so much. Visible You. We have, nope. All righty. They're not here today. The Yes Institute.
So hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Jennifer Lopez. All right, so you got J-Lo in the house. Very excited to be here representing Yes Institute. We've been around for 23 years now, and really, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm honored to be in the room with all of you for everything you do in the community, and as well as thank you, Key Biscayne Foundation, for providing us this grant to continue our initiative around communities for safe classrooms. And really, we work with youth from the ages of 5 years old all the way up to high school and college, opening up conversations around gender and orientation. And what that looks like is authentically speaking about gender orientation, how that shows up in your classroom, as well as in your own lives. And we do this, like I mentioned, starting from 5 years old, all the way up to the university level. And children are empowered to use their voices to decrease bullying behaviors in their schools, in their classrooms. And we not only work with youth, but we also work with teachers, empowering them to look at what is at the source? What is at the source of bullying behaviors, especially for our most vulnerable youth, our gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and non-binary youth. And supporting those families to be equipped with the tools to keep their families united and have love intact. And aside from that, we also work with medical and mental health professionals to provide them education around gender and orientation affirming care, to also know how can they relate to their patients and their families. And we also work with communities of faith, opening up dialogues, as well as foster care agencies, really anywhere that there's people and we're invited, we're there to provide this education and really partner up with our community to really find out not only what's at the source of bullying behaviors, but what's at the source of suicide, to then support our youth to live that life freely and authentically. So I really want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, and we are gracious to be able to continue this work in our community. So thank you.
Of course, it's so important when you think about, I know that Yes Institute is focused on gay and lesbian and transgender LGBT, but when you think about it, really impacts everybody.
Yes.
And any kinds of issues that are putting people that are marginalized or for some reason kind of in that category that often ends up being bullied. And I think it helps not only, it really expands, your impact I think expands well beyond your mission statement. And I think that's...
You know, we work with children who may, actually anybody, you know, when it comes down to gender, it's not just around gay, lesbian. We oftentimes think that those are the children who are only getting impacted, but it's also our youth who identify as heterosexual, who they don't fit our ideal views of what it means to be feminine or masculine. Right. And then the moment you know, diverge from those stereotypes, then we get impacted. So we're really addressing that at the movement. Thank you.
It's a huge impact, and I think we should all be very grateful for the work that you all are doing. I know the Yes Institute has been out there in the community working amazing communication skills and the communications courses. Do you still do those? We actually back when there's so much. Back when the foundation first started, I think we had the Yes Institute come in and help us with some communication courses, and it was really quite extraordinary work. So thank you for what you do out there.
I just wanted to say I know the Yes Institute very well, and there are probably many of you that go, well, I don't really know families with transgender children. But we have a transgender daughter, and the Yes Institute absolutely came to our rescue in a time of crisis, and they've been remarkable partners, and we are eternally grateful for what they do for the community. And so I just want to say I am one of those families, one of those people who's impacted. So thank you so much for supporting them.
We have now come to the end of our list. So I want to thank you all very much for being here this morning, and I hope now that you've heard a little bit of what everybody does, hang around a little bit and exchange some business cards and make some connections, and I think there's some synchronicity in the room that I hope will extend beyond today. So thank you all for being here.